They're cheap. They're chokers, and they were cheap and choked again.
Yep.
Go to break.
That's it. See you guys. We're done.
I was sitting in left field. I was monitoring Tyler O'Neill's routes.
Oh, boy.
Okay? I'll have a full breakdown of all of his routes.
What do you think of his
routes?
routes?
There was nobody there. Okay? Monday night, by the way, I appreciate when nobody goes to the game. Honest to God. Because it's so much easier to park, get in, get your beer, get out. Nice, tidy, 2 hours and 25-ish, 2 hours and 30 minutes?
Cruise by.
Whatever it was, I enjoyed my time with my buddies, and the Cardinals aren't very good. How about that?
That's one takeaway.
Well,
wait.
I said cheap, chokers.
And not very good.
And they're not very good.
Tyler O'Neill's routes. How does he look?
So the one ball that he was going to his left and jumped for, again, I had a bad angle on that. I'm right behind him. I just do think, we've discussed this before, Tyler O'Neill, he can hit the baseball. Tyler O'Neill's dad was Mr. Canada. Mm-hmm. Tyler O'Neill is built like his dad. And I think we're used to outfielders looking like kind of the long muscle, fluid athletes. You think of Ken Griffey Jr., gracefully running back to the wall, leaping.
Yes.
I think because the way Tyler O'Neill is comprised muscularly, everything he does kind of doesn't look natural. Is that fair?
Yep. I know what you mean, man.
Even if he was taking a good route, I just think he's just he's a big, blocky athlete.
Yeah.
He's a bodybuilder.
Yeah, he is. He's still fast, but...
He is very fast.
Covers a lot of ground.
No, he does. I think that play was probably a 50-50.
Yeah.
I don't think, hey, you have to make that play, but I think you could have.
Did you look up catch probability?
Did you look up catch probability?
I didn't look. I thought you're honestly more of a stat guy than me. But the eye said
I was drinking.
The eye said
drinking last night.
My eye test said he probably should have got it. I'm still in on Tyler O'Neill, but I like him in left. I never understood center field. He wanted to give it a shot. I thought you win a Gold Glove in left. Stay in left.
Stay in left.
I think he'll be fine.
Yeah.
I think he'll be fine there. My takeaway.
What's your takeaway, Jimmy?
I mean, the Jordan Hicks thing has put them in a corner, and it's. So the starters aren't going deep, okay? Jack was okay yesterday. Came out of the game with a couple on, and Palante gives up a grand slam. Palante had pitched the game before after being a little under the weather, having a little soreness, and then you pitch him back-to-back nights.
Yeah.
Now, he said he was fine. He was ready to go. But I think the bullpen's in a tough spot now because they're, in a way, playing a man down because of Jordan Hicks. And to me, I wouldn't have gone Palante there just based on the fact that he was coming off, wasn't feeling good, and all of a sudden you're going to pitch him back-to-back. I didn't think that was an ideal setup, but starters aren't going deep. Starting pitching has not been good. So the bullpen's being taxed. So you try to get another one out of Palante, and it didn't work out. And with the Hicks thing, the thing now is because they're in a corner, because you can't send him down, he doesn't want to go, which I also understand. If I'm a major leaguer and they say, hey, the rules say I don't have to go down, I'm not going.
I'm not going
I get
down.
it. It's a business.
Yeah.
Like as a fan, you're like, you want but it's a business, and sometimes the team is rough using the rules where it's not good for a player. You realize it's a business at both ends, right? So I get that, but there's no question the Cardinals' bullpen now is in a tough spot. So Flaherty was okay. You could see he didn't want to come out. They go to Palante, and he gives up a grand slam, and it's just not ideal.
Did you see his face?
Just not ideal.
You
Just not ideal.
You see Flaherty's face?
Yes.
When that happened next to me.
Well, there goes my ERA.
Oh, but
So I think you bring up a good point. Now, in these player versus team little battles, I almost always, in a tie, take the player's side. However, let's look at the Jordan Hicks situation just on its own. Remember, this is a guy, they didn't do the whole service time manipulation. Remember, he didn't pitch past single A. They brought him up 5 years ago, and immediately, instead of screwing with him, they put him in the big leagues, right? And he's going to be a free agent after this year. So you also have to look at it, even though I'm Jordan Hicks, I wouldn't want to go down either. At this point, are you hurting your team? I mean, honestly, that's going to become a question.
Well, I think we're starting to see already. That.
So again, I understand that Jordan Hicks doesn't have to go down if he doesn't want to, But if you could use another fresh arm and body in the bullpen, and you have a guy now who's literally not going to be used unless you're up 5 or down 5, and all your starters go 5 1/3, and your bullpen is taxed, I think at some point your teammates start to look at you and go, dude.
Do you think that's happening?
Wouldn't it for you? I mean, they understand the business too. After a while, if you see a bunch of relievers rotting on the vine, being rolled out there when they shouldn't.
I'm trying to think of a scenario in hockey, but I don't know.
I'll give you the scenario
right.
because I was thinking about this last night during the game. I didn't write it down as a note, but it did.
You only write down jokes.
The thing that it did cross my mind. Like there's certain things that can be policed by players. Now, if you're Hicks and people, his teammates like him, like there's no friction. But if it does end up hurting the team, I think there might be internal pressure, kind of like we were talking about with leadership with the Blues. Young guys not paying attention to defense, not getting back. There's nothing you could do. They got a contract, but there's probably pressure, or at some point there will be, in the dressing room from other players.
Yeah.
So I wonder if there's some parallel there between sort of the team. You don't have any. There's nothing you can do by league rules in the NHL or MLB, but do other players kind of pressure things to go the right way?
So
is that a crazy point?
No. I'm asking, like, okay, Nate, if say you're Paul Goldschmidt, leader of that team, do you get together with some of the older guys and say, hey, and go over to Hicks and say, hey, man, we got to talk to you. Like, you're hurting us. Like, when do you do that? Do you ever do that? Has anybody ever done that before? And say, hey, you're still getting paid. Go down, clean up a little bit. You're going to help. We're going to help the team in the long run, and you're going to be a part of this moving forward later on. But right now, you need to go down. Will somebody do that? Would you do that, Nate, as Paul Goldschmidt?
Well,
Stoic.
I believe that's what we did just weeks ago. That's why I'm leaving the show.
Yes. Oh my God!
I'm just kidding.
God,
So
Nate.
wait,
Nate.
So is he Goldie still? Goldie's leaving? Or is he Hicks? I don't get that.
Wait,
who are you?
Nate.
Are you the
we
oppressed?
love
Are
you.
you the oppressed player?
Now, here's the thing. I don't really know if who's the leaders on this team yet.
Yeah, I don't
I'm
know.
not quite sure. I mean, I know like
You ought
Goldie.
to go to a game or go in the clubhouse.
Well, that's why I'm asking. I was asking you.
So, in my opinion, position players don't tread into the pitching world. They really, they are separate. Like, you're not going to have a position player, I don't think, go talk to a pitcher about something.
Okay.
But a Wayno could, or one of the veteran guys, a Michaelis could. But here's the thing. They're all part of the players' union. And the players' union set the rules as dictated by the players.
Exactly.
So I don't think in this case you're really going to see that because all Jordan Hicks is doing is following the rules as laid out in an agreement set by the players' union. So how do you blow back against that?
Well, listen, I'm all for the players in terms of the union. But my point is, in the past, there's also things like, was it last year where Flaherty was allowed to go to the Cardinals and say, hey, I don't need another rehab start. I want to have my next appearance be in the big leagues. And he persuaded them to allow him to pitch in the big leagues last year. That was allowed. It didn't work out. It wasn't smart. So just because something is allowed doesn't mean it's smart or helping the team. Like, I get it. I get the rules. And I'm almost always pro-player. But we're also in an era of baseball where nobody wants their pitchers to either go deep or they can't go deep. They can't. They can't get out of 5 1/3 without throwing 100 pitches. And then it's all about usage. You already had Helsley last year. They didn't want to use him back-to-back a lot. You got a lot of guys. What was the game the other day? Hey, we couldn't use boom. I mean, we only could use 2 relievers.
Yep.
Then all of a sudden you're rolling out guys that you don't really want to throw back-to-back because you have a person over here who you're afraid to use.
Yeah, that's kind of, in a nutshell, what I was. It will hurt, but if you're Hicks, would you go down? Honestly,
I probably would.
Charlie, probably not.
I probably wouldn't. Oh,
No.
you would?
No, I wouldn't.
Sometimes you got to go on a bus and stay at the Hall
I
game,
wouldn't.
too.
They can also trade him. By the way,
Yeah.
listen again.
force the issue.
I didn't mean to answer your question for you, but you were kind of hesitant. I'm like, no, you wouldn't, because I certainly wouldn't. I think in that situation,
So I don't want to be a text line hero by saying Hicks should go. He's awful.
Get him.
He's never been good. He has terrible stuff, and because if you're in that position, I just try to be fair. If I'm Hicks, I'm not going. And I don't think any of us would go.
What if, though? What if it's actually better for his overall career to go down?
So
It could be. That's another point. It could be better for him to go down to AAA and figure it out.
Yep.
Figure out his arm slot, whatever it is, to be able to control the baseball. It might be better for his career to go down to the minor leagues for a couple of weeks.
So let's play this out because I thought about that. He could go down and he could dominate and then come back up and everything's good and you're in position to get a good contract. Could be that way. Could be you go down, you haven't pitched much, you get lit up, and now it's worse.
Oh, boy.
I'm just thinking, I'm not saying that's what, I'm just trying to think about all the different options for Hicks, how it could work out for him. Look, if it was a lock that it would work out well, I think he would consider going down. And look, he's got an agent, he's got people guiding him, so they're trying to do what's best for Jordan Hicks. And I'll say this too about Jordan Hicks, as everyone tears into him, and I get the frustration because to me, if you throw 103, 104 miles an hour with sink, as Holiday put it, and you have a wipeout slider, your stuff is great and it hasn't lived up to it.
Yeah.
You've been through a lot of injuries. He's a nice kid. He is a nice kid, and
Of course he is.
He doesn't. I think he's kind of quiet, and so he doesn't talk to the media a ton. But he's a very nice kid, and I think he'll be demonized because of this. But I'm clear that him not going down puts the Cardinals in a corner, and it could hurt them.
Text line blowing up, by the way. Get him in, get him in, get him in. 855-282-8255. What's his contract situation like?
He'll be a free agent after this.
Right.
And by the way, just my opinion, I don't think anybody's being personal about this. And any demonization coming from the text line callers, whatever, that's the Cardinals are not winning right now. And a lot of guys are not performing to their capabilities. But to me, I don't see anything personal with any of this
Yeah.
stuff.
When they say he doesn't have unbelievable stuff, I mean that's just not true. He can clock a fastball / sinker at 104 miles an hour, and we've seen him be very good. It just hasn't been for long extended period, and he is coming off injuries. I mean, it's been choppy. He hasn't lived up to his potential. There's no question. But to say you're lying, his stuff is good when he's right. The problem is he hasn't been right long enough.
You want to hear from Ollie? What did he have to say last night, Nate? And get him in, by the way, 855-282-8255.
Started with his assessment of Jack Flaherty.
Yeah, absolutely. He did a phenomenal job today. He was pitching really well. He was efficient in getting to that inning, commanding all his stuff. Fastball was good. So, absolutely. He did a terrific job today.
In the seventh there, 2-1, no outs. It's clear you want the ground ball, so obviously go to Palante. But from your perspective, how did the conversations go to make sure he is cleared to go back-to-back when he was dealing with fatigue earlier in the
Yeah, he actually felt really good today leading into that game. Gave him that extra day, not yesterday, the day before, leading into using him yesterday. But, yeah, we wouldn't have thrown him out there unless he was absolutely 100%.
Is the key part there that there's runners on base and the three lefties on the ball coming out?
Correct, yeah, just guys on base. Highest percent of getting the ground ball there is Palante. He's done a really nice job of doing that. Otherwise, yeah, Jack could keep going.
Are you seeing anything with Palante against his lately?
Yeah, the cutter, not being able to locate it as well as he normally does, and then the curveball just spun there. Unfortunately, a bad time for it, but it happens. But mostly just being able to get that into the lefty as well as he usually does.
What was your plan with Flaherty going into the seventh? Were you wanting to have a quick hook, or were you watching?
No, not at all. It's just
90 pitches.
Yeah, not a quick hook at all. It's a matter of, with the pitch clock, it takes some of these guys a little longer in the pen, and you want to make sure that they have enough time to get ready, because it does happen quickly. Unlike without the pitch clock last year, you can buy time, you can go out to the mound, you can kill some time. Now you have to give them enough time to get ready, so you get Palante moving just in case of a scenario like what happened. You had a homer, double walk happen pretty quick, so that's basically it.
He was asked if
He
he
said-
was thinking about using Hicks at the end, because I thought, boy, when they gave up the grand slam, I thought to myself,
It's Hicks time.
yeah, that's what well, as a rights holder.
Get him out there.
That's what, as a rights holder, the bright side is it's a good opportunity to see what Hicks can do. But he said the game was close, and thought they were still within striking
He
distance.
pitched fantastic.
Listen, I know I'm nitpicking. I believe the word was terrific.
Oh, terrific.
And I would agree that he was terrific through 6. But then you go homer, double, walk. Homer and double, both. I can look it up. I think they were both about 105 miles an hour. You have a walk there. And look, if Palante comes in and rolls a double play, your stat line looks a lot different. I do think he was terrific until the 7th.
Okay.
But then he wasn't terrific.
Then he wasn't. Yeah.
So he had traffic, obviously gave up a run early. So first and second inning, beyond that, it was basically in the 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th. It was 1, 2, 3, and he was commanding the strike zone. It looked like he had better command of his fastball than he had in a while. So there was a lot of good in there. I mean, that's true. But, I mean, we're looking, I think, from a fan perspective, to see a starter go out there and give me a shutout for 7 or 8. You know, that would take some of the pressure off.
Is Jamesy all over you, Jimmy?
On Twitter, yeah.
He's crazy.
I mean, some of the stuff, I just...
What?
We might have to do a James
just don't,
Twitter read.
I just strongly disagree with what he says. I know Seth likes it.
It's just.
I like it too, by the way.
Seth is a truth teller.
He's so riled up at you.
I also like
I don't know
Yeah,
what.
massive fan. I've expressed that many times.
Oh, Jamesy, that's funny.
Call in, Big James.
Yeah, you want to call in?
Is
I mean,
Marmol on
just
the hot
don't-
seat?
Ponzi scheme.
Just don't misstate what I've said, which has been pretty consistent all
Pretty
along.
consistent. Pretty
Is
consistent.
he living rent-free up there?
Well, he just asked me.
I just asked.
Well, I knew that.
I just asked.
Is he living so rent-free that you're asking him about it now?
I don't know. It is funny
Wait a
when
second.
it pops up.
Do you know that I know
Yes.
that you know
That I know.
that I know?
Yes.
Listen, I got dunked on.
You got dunked on, Jimmy.
Destroyed.
You got dunked on. Does Nolan Arenado regret not opting out of the contract this year? The Cardinals are terrible. Bring back 100-year-old Whitey, the Rat Herzog. 201.
Yes. Do that right now. Replace Ollie with Whitey. That's a great idea.
Oh, man. Fire the entire business analytic model. Bring back the previous cheating Houston general manager as a Cardinals analytic model general manager. Do it now.
Yes.
Cargill should put them in center field and teach them how to catch fly balls. At least he can throw somebody out at home. Cargill?
Who?
Who? You're going to stop and
Probably Carlson.
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 But he put Cargill, which is a major company. Looks like the Cardinals have another Rick Ankiel on their hands. Jordan Hicks is acting like Rick Ankiel again. Jeff with a G.
Well, maybe that means Jordan Hicks will come back and hit 25 home runs as an
and
outfielder
write a book and maybe have a movie about him.
He is
and
the,
do a post-game
Yeah.
analysis.
And make a lot of money.
he is the fastest guy on the team. People don't know that. Jordan Hicks is the fastest guy. He is an athlete.
Yeah.
But let's see if we could square him away as a pitcher before we take the next step.
No doubt. We could have easily signed Andrew Chafin, who would be our best reliever and also has a fanatic porn stash. Clumpy, what up, homie?
Beautiful mustache. Very good pitcher. And he was, what did he sign for? About $5 million, 1 year, something like that?
Ooh, that's a bargain.
Very
right there.
gettable.
I think the Cardinals fans get a lot of flack for demonizing players, but Cardinals fans are smart baseball fans, and it's clear Hicks is a problem, Patty V. They do know their baseball. They do. Let's see here. Hicks is a free agent next year. He isn't going to be part of the future. What are we even talking about, guys? Jackie.
What I don't understand. So you want to cut him loose now? Is that
I don't know.
it's a long season? I mean, you try to salvage an asset as best you can. Now it's problematic because he don't want to go down. But you cut him loose, and I think there's some logic to it. Well, you cut him loose and you free up a spot. There's an immediate gain if you're not going to use him in tight situations. But the problem is you cut him loose and he goes somewhere else quickly because someone will give him a shot. And, you know, he's got a sub-1 ERA with strikeouts out the wazoo.
Yeah.
Then the same people on the text line that want him cut loose are like,
Well, they're gonna yell at you.
Mo's an idiot.
It's your fault, Jimmy. It's always your fault.
But sometimes you also give a guy a lot of opportunities. Hicks has had a lot of opportunities. Look at Alex Reyes. They didn't offer him a contract. Alex Reyes had a million opportunities. He was hurt a bunch of times. If he figures it out somewhere else, I think you can also say after a while, it just wasn't working here. Same with if Tyler O'Neill moves on somewhere else and is really good again, I think you can also say, man, he had a lot of shots here.
He did. Every opportunity. No doubt about it.
I will say he looked pretty good on a ball that got over his head in left field last night. It was a nice play. I mean, now I understand why the defensive metrics internally read that he's the best center fielder on the team. I mean, he really read it well. I was surprised nobody asked about the effort.
He did.
I'm going to miss that.
He did want a Gold
Nate.
Glove
I'm
in
going to
left.
miss
right?
that, Nate.
He did want a Gold Glove in left. I don't like him in center. I like him in left, but it looked, like I said, we talked earlier. It looked to me, I didn't look at the catch probability.
You brought that up.
But it looked like he
miss
should
that.
have caught that ball.
Sometimes he just says something, you're like, oh, yeah, he's sarcastic. Okay. All these problems would have been solved if the Chief would have increased payroll on starting pitching like they said they would and didn't do. Spartan 4-4. Guys are pissed off today.
That's true.
They're pissed off today.
So here's the deal. If the Cardinals do actually spend at the deadline and they move a couple of these outfielders, if they move an O'Neill and a Yepes and a pitcher for a big-time ace, I don't know if Shane Bieber will be available, but somebody like that, I'll say, all right, that was a good idea. That was a good plan. Knowing, okay, offseason wasn't working well. We can see who's hitting well. Like, think about this. Going into this season, how did you think about Gorman? How did you think about Burleson? And how do you think about him now? Whether you want to keep him, I would, specifically Gorman, or if somebody like Burleson has ridiculous trade value now. Because you have way too many outfielders.
You do.
And good outfielders, good position players. You have way too many, and you have not enough pitching. So I think coming up, maybe before the deadline, maybe this is the year that you only do it after a couple months, that you move some of these guys and you fortify the pitching staff.
I like that Donovan, man. He could put him in.
Great.
Man, he's
I mean,
a good
Edmund,
player,
you have
isn't he?
when you
Edmund's
start to think about
good player.
even think about next year. Think if Mason Wynn does become the shortstop, and think about all the good moving parts.
Yeah.
Where Edmund would go.
Yep.
Donovan could become super utility. Gorman is arguably the best hitter on the team right now. You start to look at, man, we don't have a spot for O'Neill. We don't have a spot for Carlson.
Yep.
We don't have a spot for Yepes. There's guys they can move that have value.
Yeah, no doubt. Do you think the manager is putting Andre Palante in the wood chipper, a la Seth Manis, John Brebbia? The manager's going to cook this kid's arm. What do you think? 573. Put a name in. Seth will hook you up.
Boy, people are killing me.
Yes.
Read them.
So
Well, I'm getting
Read
to it.
them.
I'm trying to get to
like
it.
microbiologist
Don't protect
Jack.
him.
I'm not.
Microbiologist Jack says, yes, Jim, cut him loose. That's exactly what I want. How was that an insane take? Did I say it was insane? No.
No.
I said I get it. I wouldn't. Not at this point. It's a long season. You got time to try to salvage things. Look, it puts him in a corner for a while. Maybe that factored in last night, as I pointed out as the first thing. I get it. But before you give up on that, at least give it a shot now to try to see if you can salvage something out of this. Because you cut him loose, you get nothing. So I would wait and see. You have time. If behind the scenes it's not going well and you feel like you got to cut him loose, I get it. But I never said that was an insane take.
Morning, boys. Wasn't just the look on his face. Flaherty yelled, "That's effing BS," as he left the mound. Marmel is losing this team. Sharon. I love it.
He should have been pissed leaving the game. I mean, he came in, the Cardinals tied the game up in the bottom of the sixth, and he comes back out, and what's he do? He immediately surrenders the lead, like immediately. So, I'd be frustrated too. I do think that Ollie's in a bit of a jackpot with trying to get Flaherty to have the mentality of an ace, and yet he's not quite pitching like an ace, but you still have to treat him like an ace. So what's he supposed to? I think it's a tough spot. I really do.
First off,
Then let him finish the dang inning.
There you
know
go,
what?
Charlie.
Now this is hindsight. We're all gonna rip on the fact that the grand slam went out there. But I will say, like, if I'm Flaherty, I guarantee you, Flaherty would rather give up the grand slam himself than watch the reliever come in and give up the grand.
I get that.
And not just that, he walked the guy on 4 pitches right out of the game. Palante came in and walked the guy on 4 pitches.
listen.
That's embarrassing.
But Flaherty also went homer double walk.
I'm not defending Flaherty. I'm just saying the pitching stinks.
Listen, so Flaherty, you could listen to the postgame. I asked him. You could say, oh, he lost the team. Flaherty said, any pitcher that isn't ticked that they're coming out of the game in that spot,
They got problems.
That's on them. Every pitcher wants to stay in, right? I mean, so
Yeah,
it wasn't
of course.
like Ollie lost me on that one. He's ticked. He wants to stay in. He's a competitor. I get that. And again, the thing I question is Palante, after being a little under the weather on a couple of fronts, wasn't feeling great, soreness.
Sniffles?
Then he goes back to back. Maybe it's a different game if you have Hicks ready to go and he's effective. Again, the Cardinals are in a corner.
And to be fair, Andre Palante was really, really, really good last year. It's early. He has not been good this season, but he was really good last year.
He's a good pitcher.
He's a good pitcher.
Our ass is in the jackpot now.
Oh, that was a good toe-to-toe battle right there. I watched that on YouTube. A lot of cussing, or we would watch it, or listen to it, I should say. Is Cam and Friends show going to stop supporting these loser Cardinals? They have no pitching and no heart. Sell the team and fire Mozeliak as this stooge and the stooge Gersh go to break.
Cheap chokers. Go to break.
Charlie in left field, what else is new? Jackie.
What does
That's
that
kind
mean?
of funny.
Is that political?
Probably.
Hey,
That's kind of funny. That's no big deal.
no. By the way, these seats, first seats, right behind left field. I was thinking this is home run central. The Cardinals could hit one.
So funny. Ira Sean goes, "You're always in left field, Charlie. Good God." That's kind of. He's just saying, no big
I'm in
deal.
center field like John Fogerty.
Oh yeah.
Oh, he got
Put me
free
in, coach.
tickets right. He wouldn't
yeah.
take it. Charlie said, I'm not being
Nope.
I'm not being out there. Right. How about the bastard James Hahn says, play the Marmol choke drop all day.
All day.
Let's
all
hear it.
day.
Let's hear it.
He's taking the.
We have a new one, though,
Uh-oh.
that I think's even maybe better. I played it earlier, but only Seth caught it.
Is Marmol on the hot seat?
Yes. Yes.
Is Marmol on the hot seat?
Well,
Oh, I love it. I don't know. People are talking, man.
what if this team is
the
really
choke
bad
better.
this
You
year?
want that one?
Yeah.
I
don't
we
think they
had
will be.
that, too.
What if they're really bad?
I'll tell you what, though, that starting rotation,
Man,
I don't think it's very good.
who has who has a worse starting rotation in the MLB?
Well, last I looked, they were around, I think they were around 10th. They had about a 5 staff ERA for the rotation, I think, yesterday when I looked. So,
Okay.
not great.
Not great. Not great.
It's early.
That's so funny, man. Yeah, I would say though, I like. There's my little quick tips. I'm just so you know that I watched the game.
Well, how about this? What about Cam and Friends? Cam's obscure play of the game.
Obscure play of the game, just so you know that I watched.
Yeah.
I like that Willie Contreras. I do.
Okay.
I like him behind the plate. He's getting his groove on a little bit more. He's hitting the ball. He threw out somebody at second, and he kind of looked like Yachty a little bit. And another time with Willie, he's at the plate, and he hits the ball and goes, dang, right on his foot. And he's like, God, And he's like, no, I'm tough. No, I'm tough. It's not broken. I'm going to get back up there, limping a little bit. Then he hits the same ball, foul tips, just missed his foot again. Then he hit one. I think he hit a double, cruises around. You know what he did, Charlie? He did the pepper grinder.
But very subtle.
No, it was over his head, not by his wee-wee. Big difference. I like him.
Wait,
Yeah.
he did the pepper grinder on the double after he
Yeah.
hit his foot?
Yes, and he goes like this over his head.
I thought that was
That's-
after the RBI double he had.
I could have been confused on that, but
I'm just
that-
asking.
I'm just
I don't
asking. I'm
remember.
just telling you.
I saw that.
Okay.
You're talking about the double to rightish center.
I believe so.
Almost went out. Mm-hmm. He did a nice celebration. He kind of went hand over head, quick pepper grind,
That's all.
not to make it weird.
No.
But then he did his own kind of almost like a wrestling thing.
I don't mind that at all.
And you know what?
I don't mind that at all.
He brings fire.
I like him.
He brings passion. Nobody else in this team cares.
There you go, Charlie.
They don't care.
He cares.
He does.
Donovan cares.
The new guy. All these other guys, they're used to the cushy Cardinals. Oh, the Cardinal way. Hey, what's the Cardinal way?
It's a country club.
Hey, we're going to win 91 games and have a first-round exit every year.
Your
Wilson
country
Contreras is like,
club.
no, because when I was with the Cubs, we won a championship, and then we were bad, and we tanked. But that's not going to happen here.
No. Big old legs on him, by the way.
Contreras.
Big ol'
also-
ham hock.
He also
Big old legs on
he
him.
threw out a guy. He stole a base. 2 doubles. 1 RBI.
He had a hell of a game.
I mean, he did have a great
Yeah.
game. And he had a slow start, and he did not like that because he's excited to be here. So that's coming around. So that's a positive. And I also thought Donovan at first base.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. I mean, really, it was very Goldie-esque, the plays he was making at first base.
Yeah. No, he is.
But unfortunately, it ended up in a loss again.
That's true. Enough's enough. What's Randy have to say? Figure this thing out, Randy. What the hell's going on here? Randy.
Hello.
So we got to punish Randy. Right? We're not using Randy today.
Yeah.
All right?
We got to
Why?
Because too many times.
Oh, hey, buddy.
Wait, was he
man.
there or not?
No, that was Seth. That was probably
Seth, whose fault was
That
that?
was
Did
Seth.
you choke? Seth is a choker. Seth is a choker.
He pressed a different button. What's
It's
up, Randy?
Gersh's fault.
Yeah, hey, hello, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm sorry. Hey, let me ask you a question there. This Cardinal team, it's not going anywhere, and what kind of trades can they make? I mean, they got all these outfielders. Can they start trading players now? Because they need something to shake this team up. This team's not doing nothing. And as far as the Jimmy the Cat Hayes lieutenant, I thought you said you prognosticated this team's going to win 100 games. What happened on that model there? Everyone has models.
Yeah,
How did
Jimmy.
you base it?
I never said
Jimmy.
it was 100.
130.
I think I said they go undefeated,
Yeah.
which I think I was just kidding around.
Were
but
you?
I think they're still going to be good, and I still think they're going to be in the postseason mix somewhere. And I think they will turn it around because it's early. And if I'm wrong, I will admit I'm wrong.
Yeah.
Okay, well,
Will
let me
you?
ask you a question here. Charlie Marlowe, you're the more moderate of the
Yes.
on the day system.
Thank you.
Are more moderate?
No, you're right.
Okay. Let me ask you a question here. Have you seen a more team that was so hyped up and now they're falling flat on their face? Is this team just overrated in the business model, or what? How do they base this team? What do they base it on? Just how many prospects they have, or how many players they pay out? Because you said this team is cheap. So
And chokers.
I don't
Yeah.
think yeah. How do they budget as far as their dollars they give out? Because they got 5 guys still paying all these salaries. They're not even on the team.
Yeah,
All right, thanks, guys.
Charlie. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, Charlie, what?
Well, the
Angie?
What happened to funny questions from this guy?
He's
No,
pissed.
he's mad, man.
They're all pissed.
First
Let
of
it
all,
out here
I
on
think
Hot Take Central.
If you have hate in your heart, let it out.
Let it out. Now.
First of all, I think most people that listen to the show, they know that the cheap chokers, they know that's a bit, but they do kind of choke, and they're kind of cheap. I do think we can go back to this. When Mozeliak came out and said, we're going to increase payroll, and then whatever they increased it by, was it
Yeah, it was a lot. It was a lot.
0.11% or whatever it was? It was what it was not enough to make the statement that you made.
Yeah.
I feel like now whether it was the market that got a little crazy, I do think you came out and you said, a lot of it probably had to do with, you go to Arenado and you say, hey, this is what we're going to do. We're keeping Arenado. Maybe you wouldn't have left anyway. But they did not increase payroll very much at all. Now, if they do at the trade deadline, they bring on some salary and some talent, they get a reliever and an ace starter, I'll say, hey, that's fine. That's kind of what people are doing these days in baseball. But I do think the Cardinals brass misrepresented to the fan base what they were going to do this past winter. I think it's fair to say that.
Okay.
And I think they made a mistake that the rotation didn't have enough depth going into the season. I said that. But obviously they looked at what was out there and they felt like what they had in the starting rotation was as good as what they would have realistically been able to bring in. And if they're wrong, then that will be on them, right? I mean, there's no question about it. Traditionally, the Cardinals don't go out and drop a huge amount of money on a starting pitcher. And so they didn't do it, and they like what they had. And if it doesn't work out, then that's on the front office.
My God, Cat. You still saying this team is going to be good? You got to be kidding me. 920. 920. Where's that at? Put a damn name in. Seth will hook you up.
The season's
put it in.
over.
It's over.
I mean, it's easy to say it's over, they're
It's
terrible, and then pretend like if they get hot, you never said it. I still think they're going to be good. If they end up the season sub 500 and missing the playoffs, I'll go, I misread it just like I did Dakota Hudson.
Yeah. That's it. How you feeling, Jimmy? You've been working your ass off lately. No, seriously.
Charlie doesn't
14
like that.
days in a row he's working. I'm just
He's
saying.
not playing.
Dude, he's there all damn
The
day.
games are 30 minutes less than in the past. He's working less than he's ever worked in his life in baseball. Okay? Cam and friends?
not
You
true.
just don't. Yeah.
No.
You don't work that
How
hard.
is it not? If every game you cover, that used to be 3 hours and 6 minutes, if every game is now 2 hours and 41 on average,
You're right.
you are basically working 25 less minutes every night.
Jimmy, you should get another job.
so you're-
Give him another job, Jimmy.
You should get a pay cut.
So wait, I'm telling you that in this stretch, there's there's been no off days. It's a lot of days in a row. So yes, there are other times where I have worked less than now because usually there's an off day or two mixed in there. This is a stretch.
It's a stretch for
putting in hours.
Yeah,
that's
it's
all.
putting in hours.
Is that crazy?
It's all good. Just popping them up a little bit. No big deal.
No, I'm focused on the taxed relievers, not the taxed sideline reporters.
Well,
I'm
you ought to
talking
rethink
about
it.
the taxed relievers.
It's all the same.
That are going out there. They're not feeling 100% because nobody else can go out there and do their job.
Yeah, I get you. Deadline may be too late. Cardinals keep trying to use formula that worked in the past because they had Duncan and Chris Carpenter type lurking. They have two little nerds as manager and pitching coach. Holiday would have had respect. Time for management to be held accountable with these players gone performing and players not performing here. Zachy boy.
By the way, for everything,
These two nerds.
for everything, look, you can question Ollie 100%.
Oh, that's funny, man.
But at the end of the day, Ollie doesn't put the team together. Ollie did not put the pitching staff together. John Mozeliak and Bill DeWitt Jr. put the roster together and said, this is how much we're going to spend and on who. So Ollie can also only use the guys he has.
That's all.
And doesn't everybody agree that the starting rotation is not good? Now, I think it's going to get better, but it's not even close to being elite. That has nothing to do with Ollie.
If I would have said, I think it's going to get better, I would get killed.
You'd get killed.
Killed for this.
Just killed.
But I agree with Charlie on that. Look,
Well, it can't get worse.
No.
They're 3 games. They're 3 games under 500. 17 games in. It's been bad. There's no question. I'm not ready to give up on the season. 17 games in, and I'm sorry. I'm just not built that way, and it has nothing to do with the fact that I have to suck up to Mo and I'm a coward and everything. I just try to analyze it fairly and with a little thought toward what could happen down the road. You don't overreact to one small segment.
It's April. These Texers are idiots. There you go. Sticking up for you. It's been documented that DeWitt plays deep in personal decisions. Mo might be as much of a puppet as Gersh. Bastard James Hahn. I don't know. It's okay, Mozeliak will pick up some washed-up pitchers at the deadline, and we'll criticize, and they'll pitch like Cy Young candidates and get us in the playoffs right at the end. Aiden. Maybe.
I agree, but last year's pitchers were not washed up. You picked up Quintana, dang good. You picked up Montgomery, arguably your best pitcher right now, who I think you wanna re-sign. I would think.
Yep. Charlie's getting after it today. I think seeing that game up close did some damage. At this point, Jim is like press secretary for the Cardinals. He should interview for the White House, Patty V.
Wow.
Oh, you're like Grand Jean-Pierre.
Here, let me. Here, let me say it again.
They're shit jokers.
There,
What's her
okay?
name? Grand Jean-Pierre. Janine Grand Jean-Pierre. Press secretary for Biden.
Isn't it Kareem?
Kareem. Yeah,
Kareem?
something like that.
Abdul-Jabbar?
Yeah, he's there now. Once again, the Bibs are going to be happy unless this team was 13-3 at this stage. Everybody just needs to relax. As I said before, we are spoiled by our success. Yes, I'm frustrated too that we're in first-round exit regularly, but let things play out through Flag Day. Then we can see where we're at and make decisions then. The Nate limit.
Settle
That's
down.
reasonable.
So I don't even get. I'm not even upset that the Cardinal fans are frustrated and lashing out. It's good because that means they care. Like I don't care if they want to come at me and call me press secretary. That means they care.
Means they care.
That means they care about the team. That's why ratings are good. That's why
James cares about the team.
That's why they fill up the stadium. I mean,
Not last night.
It's important. It's important. Well, that means they're not going to.
Yeah,
they probably
it's
won't
over.
crack a million. This
No,
year.
it's over.
Probably won't crack a million.
Maybe
It's over.
sold, not attended.
Look at
They're the top-rated
Yeah.
team television-wise in baseball, like almost every year. Sometimes it's every other year, whatever. Top 2 every year.
Yeah.
Top 2 or 3 every single year for a long time because Cardinal fans care.
They do.
So when the team doesn't win, they get mad, and they should, and I get it.
And
I don't even call them spoiled. Spoiled has like, you're no, you're fans.
Yeah.
So you're supposed to be upset when your team loses.
Let's flip
I
it
get
though. Let's flip it because we're blaming the Cardinals. We're blaming Ollie. we're blaming the players.
Me? They're blaming me?
You, Jimmy, you.
Yeah, but they should blame you. That's the difference. But here's who we should blame. All these fans that are mad, I'm going to blame you, fans. Because last night, I was a good fan.
Yeah, you were.
Even though I didn't pay for the ticket. But I went to the game. I drove down. I'm not like Cam, who's afraid to go downtown or to leave his house. And I saw the 36,000 tickets sold, but I saw about 15,000 people in the house. And maybe if the Cardinals would look around and see some true passionate fans that actually went to the ballpark on a Monday night, which was one of the most beautiful, perfect evenings in recent years, maybe the boys would be a little more fired up if the barn was full.
Dang right.
B-Fib.
Wow. Calling them out.
How about that?
Get down.
Big series, Diamondbacks in town.
Yeah, get down to Bush.
know what
They're a good team.
Monday night.
You know what I think
They're a good
about
team.
Cardinal fans? They're chokers.
They are. They
You could have got a
are.
ticket. The dudes behind us said they got tickets for $17. 4 or 5 dudes having a great time. If you want to see great entertainment and it's only 2.5 hours, go down to the damn ballpark. You can get tickets for $17.
They said $1 on here.
Yeah, $1, literally.
No, it's right
No,
here.
I know.
Real guy.
Cheer
They'll
on
blow
the
you.
boys.
They'll blow you.
V-Fib.
Once the team is 10 games below 500, the team will be seller's market by May 29th.
No, they won't be. They'll be 500. They'll move 3 position players for an ace, and they'll probably win the World Series.
Yeah, you're probably right.